What's up, guys? Tony Scotto here with episode 1 out of 2 episodes. I'm just going to be discussing stress and how it involves us students. I will go into detail about what causes the stress and will support my points with my guest from Brookdale Community College, Jacqueline Mazza, who will give her feelings towards stress and how it has affected her college life. I will also support this topic with my own personal touch and how I felt during the stressful times of college. According to learnpsychology.org, stress is shown in 3 different forms. Acute is the first one, which is basically your positive and negative stressful feelings. The second one is episodic acute stress, which is a more frequent acute stress, which will happen in patterns. So, for instance, how we feel at school. It always comes in patterns when we're starting to feel stressful because there's either too much homework or we have a paper due, we have work, and we have to live our life as well. It starts to get very stressful. So that's definitely something I feel like students might feel is the episodic acute stress. And then the final form is chronic stress, which is something you should probably go get checked out if you're really at that stage. That's a stage you don't want to be at. It's basically when you have a never-ending stress. So if you do feel like that, it's not a bad thing. You should definitely just go ask for help or something simple like that. So I'm going to get into some facts coming from which ADAA, which is basically stands for Anxiety and Depression Association of America. So a little background. So basically, ADAA was founded in 1979, and it's a nonprofit organized and dedicated to help prevention and treatment and the cure of anxiety, depression, and other stuff, just like stress as well. So some really, really crazy information that I got off them was a couple statistics, like for instance, 40 million U.S. adults suffer from an anxiety disorder, and 75% of them experience their first episode of anxiety by the age of 22. So basically, what I'm getting out of that statement alone is that by the end of the college career, your stress levels are already going crazy. And another fact that I found was 30% of college students reported that stress had a negative effect on their academic performance, which is another big factor in stress in school. It's how do you go to school feeling super stressed and you expect us students to just get an A on tests? So after reading all these statistics, I thought it would be a good idea to bring in a guest who's going to give you a full reel on how it feels to be stressed and go to school. Talk about how students are exposed to stress during our college lives, and I just want to know how you felt during your college days, and if you did experience some stress, what you did to cope with it, and was there a way to cope with it?
Well, stress is kind of like something that just overcomes everybody, you know? You gotta find your stress reliefs, if you will, whether it's playing sports or, you know. I would try to recommend you play sports and exercise, do things that are a bit more...
So keeping yourself busy seems to help you out a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any other advice you can give those listeners and viewers?
Yeah, take school seriously. I know you don't want to take it as a joke, but definitely don't get too stressed out because you're supposed to mess up. That's how you learn in life.
Okay. So making mistakes is normal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a part of life. I mess up all the time.
Okay. Were there any times during your college times where you exposed to stress and it made you very panicky and freak out? So what did you do? Was there something you did, or?
I mean, you kind of want to take a step back. I would probably take a step back and think of, try and think of why I was so stressed out. And once I realized the issue, just try and, just instead of being all stressed out, try and just make it better. You kind of just have to find it within yourself to just overcome it, because stress sucks.
So guys, as you can see from our discussion today, stress is not something you want to have just following you throughout your semester of college. And as we talked about, and we also stressed, it comes in 3 forms: acute, episodic, and chronic. Episodic is more where students lie, acute is like the beginning, and chronic is where you don't want to be. And also, according to ullifeline.org, emotional stress can also just stick with you for months, weeks, and it can actually affect your immune system, cause fatigue, and sometimes, we get that feeling of just tiredness from stress, and that's what it's caused from. So stress is overall just bad, and let's try and not have it in our lives. So next week we're going to talk about how to cope with stress and maybe some activities or some games or something that will help us forget about stress and just live a positive life. And I would like to thank Brandon for coming on my show. My second interviewee was not able to come in today. She had a rough situation, so we'll leave it at that. But next week, for sure, Jacqueline Mazza will also be a guest, and I might have a special guest as well. Thank you, guys.